Take a look at Brysen Wright. You are looking at the #1 overall national football recruit for the class of 2028. Right now, he is only 15 years old. If he doesn't look like a typical high school sophomore, it's because his physical measurements are off the charts for his age. Wright already stands 6 feet 3.5 inches tall and weighs 210 pounds. College scouts noticed. Before he is legally allowed to drive a car, Wright has already amassed 32 collegiate scholarship offers from top-tier programs. Wright represents the new baseline for elite scouting. The recruiting timeline has shifted so early that this level of speculation is now the standard requirement for major programs. The modern recruitment machine rarely waits to evaluate actual high school varsity performance anymore. Instead, programs are betting millions of dollars in resources on the speculative physical traits of preteens. The scouting calendar reflects this panic. Major Division I programs now host elite summer camps specifically tailored to evaluate middle schoolers in the classes of 2027 and 2028. When you force 14-year-olds to make major life decisions, you get massive systemic volatility. Take Leonard Manuel, a highly touted prospect who racked up multiple early decommitments, backing out of promises to Tennessee and Miami before he even finished his sophomore year. Tracking the fickle whims and changing loyalties of high school sophomores naturally creates fatigue. Fan bases burn out trying to follow commitments that hold no legal weight and change with the wind. But the volatility hides a much larger problem. If the entire collegiate scouting industry is spending its time and budget fixated on early peaking middle schoolers, someone is slipping through the cracks. This push for early certainty 14-year-olds to perform as finished physical products, effectively locking out anyone who hasn't hit their growth spurt by middle school. To see exactly who gets missed, we have to look at the University of Miami and the neighborhood sitting right in its shadow. Growing up a half-mile away from this campus, Fernando Mendoza dreamed of wearing the green and orange. He went to their football camps. He lived and breathed the local team. Miami didn't recruit him. While their scouts were busy scouring the nation for out-of-state middle schoolers, they entirely ignored the prospect living down the street. To the algorithms, Mendoza was practically invisible. He was labeled a low 2-star recruit. As a younger player, he spent time as a third-string defensive end and considered quitting the sport entirely. Recruiters will travel thousands of miles to gamble on out-of-state potential, while a future starter lives 3 minutes away, entirely unnoticed. Mendoza eventually found an offer on the other side of the country. He arrived at Cal buried at the bottom of the depth chart, a third-string quarterback looking at a long climb. The adversity compounded. The coaching staff brought in multiple high-profile transfer quarterbacks, actively moving them to the front of the line ahead of him. Mendoza stayed put, focused on the portal. That intellectual discipline carried over. At Cal, he earned acceptance into the rigorous Haas School of Business, applying the exact same work ethic to his academics that he brought to the film room. This intense mental preparation eventually forced the coaches to pay attention. Mendoza earned the starting job midway through a difficult season and immediately revived the team's offense, hanging over 40 points in his debut. His success on the field didn't come from a dominating teenage growth spurt. It came from patience, intellect, and resilience, the exact intangible traits that modern recruiting algorithms have no way to quantify. This radar chart visualizes friction in the star system. On the left, the early peaking prospect maxes out physical projections. On the right, the late bloomer maxes out maturity and loyalty. But the industry heavily weights physical traits. They're easy to measure, highly visible, and reliably generate hype. This dynamic creates a disconnect. Recruitment offers are often awarded based on early physical projections, but game-winning performance relies on the exact resilience and preparation seen in overlooked players like Mendoza. The star system misprices development by treating teenage athletes like high-risk venture capital, prioritizing the immediate flash over a long-term investment in the player. The ultimate test of Mendoza's value arrived with conference realignment. Cal's move to the ACC meant they would soon be playing in direct competition with Miami. With his value proven on a national stage, the media expectation was obvious. Mendoza could finally enter the transfer portal and return home to play for the Hurricanes. He rejected the idea entirely. Speaking to the press, Mendoza dismissed the transfer portal culture, stating clearly that the greenest pasture is here at Cal.
That deep loyalty cements his value. He chose to commit his future to the specific coaching staff and program that invested in his development, rather than the ones chasing his hype. In an era obsessed with 14-year-old recruits and endless portal jumping, the highest value asset a program can acquire is an overlooked player committed to the present. Finding the right developmental fit matters far more than winning the offseason.